North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson is joining 22 other attorneys general to challenge an executive order put in place by President Trump.
That order pushes for the creation of a national list of verified eligible voters, and it directs the Department of Homeland Security to work with the Social Security Administration to compile and provide a list of eligible voters to states at least 60 days before an election. It could mean the end of some mail-in voting. I want to bring in our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, we've talked about this before, not this lawsuit per se, but the executive order.
Yep.
And you're kind of saying this is dead on arrival.
I think it is. I mean, let's go to the constitutional authority. Article 1, Section 4 clearly gives the states the authority over time, place, and this is key, the manner in which elections are run. And so if you're telling states how to run, that is the manner. Courts have uniformly held that states have that control. I think that aspect of it is dead on arrival. I had known Attorney General Jackson for almost 20 years. An extremely intelligent person. He's bringing this claim because not only the law supports it, but he has some personal connection to this. As a military member, he recognizes that this not only affects individual, civilian voters, but he believes that it will also affect military voters. He says, yes, I am one of them. Under current law, we can request and receive absentee ballots up until the day before the election, which matters because deployments can happen very fast. As you mentioned, that 60-day window would not allow what happens today right now to occur. I think that it may be a carve-out, though, within the rules as they currently apply. Voters that are in the military operate under something called the Uniform and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, which I think would be something set aside from the normal, again, civilian absentee voter aspect. But again, he has a number of folks that are in the room looking at this, him and Jeff Jackson and his team, and they must have read something that they believe is going to create a conflict here, which when I looked at it, I thought for sure civilian voters would be affected, and I think there's unconstitutionality there. But I thought there would be a protection at least where there wouldn't be any impact on military voters.
Do you foresee all of the legal challenges here being sorted out before we head to the midterms? Obviously, the executive order's point is to have this in place for the midterms, but we are a litigious society and things go round and round. So does this get sorted out before then?
I mean, sorted out is an opportunity for litigation to sort it out, right? You go to court for things to get sorted out. So I've seen a number of states, doing these advisory notifications like, listen, we know that the president has this executive order. This won't impact this upcoming election. The folks in these 22 states now that have filed these lawsuits are also sending out things that, look, this won't affect this upcoming election. But I do think you're going to need clarity to figure out. It's just like when we passed voter ID here in our state. There was a window where it was, well, do you need it? Okay, you don't need it now, but you'll need it that next time. Advising states on how they need to act, and that's why you're trying to get some type of injunction, some temporary, permanent, or preliminary injunction, so states will recognize what they can do or what they are required to do. But I think there are going to be not just a number of constitutional issues, procedural issues. How do you ensure that the post office gets these lists compiled and rejects or sends out ballots like they are being asked or directed to do by this executive order? So you're going to need not just an injunction, but declaratory judgment. You're going to need the courts to say, this is what you're supposed to do, and a number of states are going to challenge that as well.
Okay, so you don't even think it makes the declaratory judgment because you don't think it even gets that far. But also you're saying that if the president does want this to happen, what's going on in Congress right now with he's trying to get the SAVE Act passed through, that's his best route to achieve this.
Absolutely. I mean, most of what I said is out the door. If the SAVE Act is passed, we're not talking about constitutional issues anymore because the Constitution clearly carved out an aspect for states to implement it, and it could go, or Congress to make any type of changes. So that is the proper venue, is either our General Assembly in North Carolina or South Carolina. They would make the changes, or Congress would say, hey, we don't like what's going on and we'll make changes. But the executive branch doesn't have the authority to do that. You ask the question about declaratory judgment. Any lawsuit would have both. It would have an injunctive piece and declaratory judgment saying, listen, stop this from happening, and declare that it can't happen anymore. So you're asking for both.
Understood. Okay, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, weighing on that for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.